Welcome to the People's Pitch, the official podcast of Minneapolis City SC. My name is John, and I am here with my wonderful co-host Nathan.
Hey, what's up?
And we will be coming at you with some heat today.
We're bringing the heat.
Bringing the heat. But as always, we would like to give a shout out to Summit Brewing Company, the official craft beer sponsor of the People's Pitch. So give them some love, you citizens. Summit just released the newest member of the Unchained 21 series titled Us and Them. It's deconstructed from the mash of the popular Saga IPA into two distinct threads. I believe that's two different types of beer for the novice. It's offered in 6-packs where lucky drinkers will be having the opportunity to drink 3 bottles of each thread per 6-pack. For more information, check out summitbrewing.com. For more details that I surely missed, information on tours and upcoming events, and much, much more. And that again is summitbrewing.com. Mr. Morales, how are things? How's the FIFA game?
It's not bad. It's not bad. The boy and I have a running rivalry. He beats me occasionally when he plays Bayern Munich.
And you pick like Qatar?
Yep.
Is that
I gotta be nice. No. I'll play Arsenal or Tottenham or someone, and he'll whoop on me pretty good. So
it's only the beginning.
He's got the skills. I know. It's just the start. It's all downhill from here. I was thinking though about that beer. What if I drank the 3 beers that were the same first? Would I be in a state of mind to notice that my beer changed flavor?
They're two distinct flavors. I've had them.
I'll have to try them out.
I've been privileged enough to drink from the teat that is
Whoa.
the Summit Brewery employee-only tap room.
I'll have to do some experimenting.
Yeah.
Well, we got some good stuff coming up today. Player news, we promised you last week, but it's gonna have to wait. We got some big news and big things to cover. Generally, we're gonna go over some soccer news. We got a couple things we want to talk about, but we've got Chairman of Minneapolis City SC, Dan Hodeman, is in studio.
Mitchapalooza.
Mitchapalooza.
He's the Godfather.
Danapalooza. We've got some emails. You guys care. We put the shout out to get some emails in, and we got a couple, so we're going to cover those too later on. But first, our man, Tokyo Sex Whale, did not make the FIFA presidency.
Did not. Didn't even make a vote.
He pulled out.
Sex Whale pulled out before he even got a vote. He threw up the white flag and resigned before he was able to even get a vote. Basically saying that he withdrew before the race and telling all of his compatriots or his competitors that FIFA is your problem now. Like he owned it in the first place.
Yeah, right. He'd had it. I want to talk about really quick, John, the news of the Minnesota United Stadium. The new stadium renderings were put online. There's a couple articles, one in the Pioneer Press, I think. But the big news really is that it looks beautiful, and it's going to happen to cost about $25 million more than they wanted. I can't wait to have it in my neighborhood. I live right on the other side of 94. That's going to be awesome.
I'm sure property values are going to be going up.
Well, that's good for me. But I predict that it's going to be good for Minneapolis City SC. I mean, this thing is going to be awesome. It looks just like Allianz Arena where Bayern Munich play, right? It looks exactly the same, except a little bit smaller probably. But I'm predicting that...
Definitely smaller than the Allianz.
I'm predicting that more dark clouds are going to be defecting to the Crows over what is surely going to be... I mean, the ticket prices for this thing are going to be out of this world. When you know that it's already over price tag, this thing is not going to... They're not going to spare any cost here.
Right.
I think gone are the days of season tickets for $300. And when you're looking at a fan base that's used to a lot more access to their players, right? They're used to probably a little cheaper tickets. It's going to be like going to a Wolves game.
It's probably going to be more expensive from an overall experience standpoint than a Wolves game. You think about it's going to be nice weather for the majority of the season, so there's going to be a tailgate involved. Whereas you go to a Wolves game and you're likely parking in ramp C.
Yep.
And marching your rear right into the stadium because it's cold outside. So there's probably a lot of added costs that we're not even thinking about. Plus public transportation to get there, paying to park. It's going to be expensive. So I think you hit on something.
It's just my prediction. I think that if you're a soccer fan in Minneapolis or Minnesota and you're looking for a team that you're going to be able to see a lot of the games, you're going to be able to get to know the players, and you're going to be able to form a a greater bond with the fan base. I'm willing to bet that Minnesota United is not going to be that team anymore. So that's too bad. I'll go to the games and I'll be a fan, but I think that sense of community might leave with the inflated price tags. But we'll see.
Well, like I've said multiple times through these airwaves, I support the parent club, and the reserve team can shove it because they are one of our opponents, and I will continue to say that throughout the whole entire season. But I kind of felt like that the stadium is going to look a little stupid in that area. It seems too high tech for an area of. I mean, it's got like illuminated lights on the outside, and I think it's just going to look dumb in that area.
You look dumb in your area. It's going to be awesome.
Which area do I look dumb in?
I think it's definitely going to be something new that you don't really see outside of downtown or outside St. Paul.
I mean, I'm going to go. I'm not gonna necessarily like it, but I'm gonna go.
Oh, I'll love it.
All joking aside, we had some sad news this week. Most of you know that Minneapolis City has grown out of Stegman Soccer Club. One of our members of Stegman Soccer Club, Mike Ozru, passed away this weekend after a 2-year battle with cancer. And he was a consummate hard worker. He never let cancer keep him down. He played for almost 2 full seasons after his diagnosis, sometimes coming straight from cancer treatment at the Mayo Clinic just to play in games. We're gutted as a family. We really feel for, and our thoughts are in prayers. Our thoughts and prayers are with his wife, Mariah, and their 1.5-year-old son, Everin. So one of the good ones, gone early but not forgotten, Nate. So we want to just give a quick shout out. Our prayers and our thoughts are with the Ozru family.
Indeed.
But as we move on with Minneapolis City soccer news, you heard the crack of the beer in the background. That is a Tasty Summit. And with that Tasty Summit comes the Godfather himself, Chairman Mr. Dan Hudeman.
Hello, guys.
Hey, what's happening?
Welcome,
this is
sir.
Fun.
Yeah. Just like 3 guys hanging out drinking beer, like there's nothing recording.
Yeah, no, it's just a thing. I mean, that and the big microphone.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And that's not going anywhere. Speak directly into it, please. But, so most of you know Dan as the chairman of Minneapolis City SC. He is one of the 3 founders with myself and Mr. Nick Sint. And we are going to have him on today, do a little general discussion, which Mr. Nathan Morales is going to lead here for us. And then we're going to have something called the People's Pitch Speed Round.
Oh, boy.
10 questions for the chairman at the end. So, Nate, take it away.
Yeah, Dan, what's up, man? Good to see you again.
Yeah, great to see you too.
A couple months.
Just 3 dudes drinking beer.
Yeah, that's
so
how it is.
I'm happy to be here.
Hey, so tell the people out there, what is your official title, and what great responsibilities come with the great power that you have inherited?
So the official title is chairman. Honestly, that came from a drinking game called Chairman. Interestingly enough, and I thought that sounded like a cool title. I want that.
Look good on business cards.
Right? It looked great on business cards, which are part of the drinking game. So anyway, that's the title, and the responsibilities is some are great in that as we've been working through where we're going to play and finding out the designers who would come up with designs that the internet would hate. I got to choose them, so that's been really fun.
Sweet.
Doing the budget. I've tried to separate what I've been doing with what's been happening on the playing side because I'd screwed up. So we've got pros that do that. I get to worry about can we really afford this, and I get to run Twitter overwhelmingly, so I also get to think about how can I best troll Milwaukee.
Yes.
It's been fantastic.
So you're the man behind the Twitter handle.
Overwhelmingly, yes.
Excellent. What does it take to start a semi-pro soccer team? How long has this endeavor been in the making?
Well, I think that it takes 2 people, right? It takes one person who can get egged on to actually starting it. And in this case, John has continued to say things like, we can do it. Those other guys are total idiots. Like, we definitely can do this.
Total idiots.
It happened with Stegman's, and it's happened with Minneapolis City. We got approached by a bunch of different leagues, and I was telling John about it. And I was like, I don't know, a lot of teams fail. And he's like, what are you talking about? We wouldn't fail. We're so good at this. And I'm like, yeah, we are good at this. And then later on, I'd sleep on it, and I'd be like, what? We're not good at this. We haven't done this before. And I'd talk to John, and he'd be like, yeah, but we could be really good at this, right? And I'd be like, yeah, we could be really good at this. And then I'd talk to him later, and I'm like, why would you think that? He never has any reasons. He just finds a way to get me all jazzed up. So anyway, without John just poking me, we never would have gotten it started. And then, right now he's saying, no, me? What? No?
Yeah, no, I take zero credit, people.
But in a more serious answer, the great thing about us with Stegman's is, we had this, we already had this organization. We have over 100 guys who are really involved. And then as we started to meet people kind of around soccer in Minnesota, we found more and more people who were kind of telling us, yeah, you guys should do this. After, Thunder turned into United, and it's awesome what United's doing and being at the top of the I'll call it a pyramid. It's not really, but in the Division One,
inverted pyramid.
Hard to tell what it is, but they've spent a lot of money, right? And even in NASL, they spent a lot of money. They've really grown the game, and so as they compete on a national level, they're much less like the Thunder, which is like a Minnesota All-Star team, and much more like a true Division One professional team. That's fantastic. We're a major league city. We need something like that. But it was also pretty fun to follow the Minnesota All-Stars, and as we've, it felt like there was a gap. So for a minor league soccer team, we needed a reason to exist, and we had a lot of people who remember those days, who were involved in soccer at that level, really wanted to help us. So it started with John kind of egging me on, because that's what he does. But what really put it over the top is a lot of people said, hey, this is the thing we should all do. So we have our advisory board. We've got people like you who are like, hey, let's do a podcast. I think it's just a thing that people are interested in.
How long has this process taken? Like from the day when you decided we're going to start this team to the first scrimmage last week?
It's been pretty quick.
Like a couple months?
Yes.
Really?
We talked to a guy who's actually employed in soccer with some NASL teams, and we asked him what to do, and he said, yeah, just go for 2017. You're not going to have enough time. And then we told him a couple months ago, we're like, hey, we're gonna start. What do you think? He's like, I don't think there's enough time. You guys are going to fail. And then I'm like, no, that's not what John says. Yeah, I mean, we've done it really quickly. It's only been a few months, but we felt like we had a lot of infrastructure with Stegman's, and we felt like with the network we had, especially with guys like Keith and Jeremy, our coaches, and some of the guys on our advisory board, Alan Merrick, Ryan Manning, people like that we were able to talk to some of the best players, and so we could put out a good product.
Let's talk about that really quickly. You don't just pick up the phone and call a former Premier League player or MLS player that and get them to coach. Like, what was your recruitment process to get guys like Alan and Keith on board?
Well, it's funny you say that, because there's a guy who's on our advisory board, call him the Soccer Google. His name's Donnie Mark, and he's a great guy. He's a really good player, played professionally in France and China, one of Minnesota's best talents. And literally, when you say, oh, you don't just pick up the phone. No, you do when you're Donnie. You say, hey, Donnie, I'm thinking about doing this, and I'm wondering who you think would be the best choice. And he says, oh, who'd really love to do that? Alan Merrick. And then he texts Alan, and then he says, hey, can you do coffee with Alan tomorrow? That's what happens with the Soccer Google. So anyway, we had a lot of conversations, and as we met people, there were some people like Alan, like Keith, like Jeremy, who were like, yeah, you're our people.
Yeah,
let's do this.
That's cool that he's just the deal maker.
Yeah, it's interesting too, and I'm trying to stay out of this as much as possible because of the fact that I'm fairly close to matters too. But Dan's 100% correct with the advisory board that we've put together. They are the ones that you go to for this type of stuff, and other people outside of soccer who might be doing their own interests, they don't quite understand that. But when you get this collective group of people together, it's actually quite the dynamo that has such strong forward momentum to help us in these few months we've had.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for their networks, we wouldn't have gotten that far.
We wouldn't have come together this quickly either.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, you played in high school, obviously, and in college. You've played with Stegman's for a number of years. What adjustments do you have to make when you pull a Beckham and you move from being a player to an executive?
Tattoos.
Well, I kind of found that there are some people who are they're just good at the whole playing side. That they've got the network. They're really good at identifying talent. They're probably far better players than I was, and what I'm a lot better at, I think, is recognizing my limitations. So it wasn't all that hard for me, right? If I'd been a better player, I think it would have been harder. The thing is, like, I love soccer, I love watching soccer, I love being a part of it, and I always got really pumped up with especially the whole local player potential thing. Because when I was playing, I moved around a lot when I was a kid. I'm from Minneapolis, but because of my dad's job, moved all over. And so by the time I got to college, I didn't really have like a home to come home to. But I did have a group of friends I really wanted to play with, and there was a thing similar to what we're trying to pull together for local kind of college age players. That I was pretty lucky to be a part of. Those are some of my best memories.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the things that I tried to try to keep in mind is like, look, I can help put this together. I'd be an ineffective coach. I'd be an ineffective recruiter, but I can kind of help set something up that I know is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be fun for the players. It's going to be fun for, I think, the fans, because I really enjoy doing it. You know?
Yeah.
There's got to be at least one other person like me in the world. So
It's me.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm right here.
So I don't know if that answers your question for sure, but
Yeah.
I just I wasn't I played beyond my own abilities and recognized that pretty quickly, and then sort of faked it for as long as possible. So by the time that like my career was over, like my feelings weren't that hurt. I realized there were hundreds of better players, and I'd done pretty well for myself. And now I can just now I can have fun on the sidelines drinking beer. It's way easier than eating.
So
well.
how do you fight the urge to? And I know I'm gonna fall into this bucket too. So I want to hear your take on it. How do you fight the urge to sit on the sidelines and say, keep your mouth a little bit quiet and let the professionals do their thing? Like how do you get by that?
It's like I try to make myself third choice goalkeeper. It's like that. There's so much fun around the fan experience. And anyone who went to the local during the last World Cup probably heard me leading the songs. Thing is, like I love the experience so much, and the thing about being a player that sort of got me is by the end of I'll call it a career. That's definitely overselling. But by the end of my career, I just wasn't having fun. It was too nerve-wracking. I used to rap Wu-Tang to myself before games because then I'd think of the lyrics and not what was going to happen. It was the worst. Stop being fun. And then all of a sudden, as a fan, I'm like, this is fun. I can drink some beers. I can sing some songs. I can do some stupid shit. And then, like, I really want to win. But one thing that will not happen is one of my mistakes will not make us lose. It was liberating. Totally liberating.
It's totally liberating, I guess. Yeah.
And that, folks, is how you concentrate on not saying anything during the games.
Yep.
There you go.
Just rap Wu-Tang to yourself,
Yep.
shut up, and
Mitigate
drink
risk.
Beer. Yep.
Have a good insurance policy.
Is it your hope that more aging soccer players with too much time and too much disposable income are going to follow it in your footsteps and start up more teams in around here? I mean, what is your end game with this?
Well, it feels like two questions. So the first one is yes, I think so, because I'm sort of a believer that like the more soccer is better, right? It's better for the players. It's better for the fans. You have more to choose from. Soccer is so tribal. The example that I give is I'm a really big Twins fan.
That's a good word.
Like
That's a good
going
word
to watch the Twins. Been watching them for a long time. My brother and I go all the time. But it's much more of a casual fan experience.
Yeah.
Even though I could really care. It's like a picnic with beer and
Yeah,
some
and
sort
all
of
the
a sporting
nicest
event.
restaurants in the city are there.
Yeah. And that's what that is.
$25 mozzarella stick bucket.
Right. It's definitely changed from the Metrodome days, but it's just sort of a different thing. A lot of the major sports, because they're so expensive, have become either more casual or more corporate.
Yeah.
And I think they've become less representative, and there's something to be said for like grassroots team. Like we've really been all about Minneapolis. I'd love to have a team like this that tries to own St. Paul. I'd love to have teams that do like Minneapolis North End.
Yeah, like a
that
Duluth
would be
team.
fucking cool, right?
That'd be really cool.
Duluth would be cool. I mean, we'd kill them, but that'd be fantastic. So yeah, totally love that. So you also asked about Endgame.
Yeah, where's this all going?
I've got a lot of questions like that, and I wish I had an answer. But I think one of the strengths of what we're doing is that there really isn't an end game. This is supposed to be fun. It's good for its own sake. If we were here to try and get rich, like we would definitely fail. If we were trying to get something out of this besides enjoying it, it just wouldn't work.
Yeah.
So the end game for us, we've kind of been talking about it is, we want this to become an institution. We want to look back on it and say, we built that, and we want all the members to do it. To look back and say that's ours. The thing that happened to us with Stegman's. Every year we've gotten to the end of the year and we've said, fuck yeah, man. what a great year. We should definitely do this again. And every year, and it gets a little bit bigger and cooler. And my hope is that this happens with City as well. We get to the end, and all the members look around and they're like, oh, we did this. We did it, and we did it in a market where there's an MLS team that's doing a great job. They're good at marketing. Like, they're really good at what they do. And we found a place and we were successful. And we did it with kind of a grassroots thing. We've already surpassed FC Fargo in total season ticket holders, and we haven't even announced where we're going to play yet.
That was quick.
Our logo just came out like a month and a half ago.
So we got scarves being sold.
Supporter section.
Yeah.
Right. We have a mascot that's a crow.
I saw that. That looks really cool. I saw that tweet today there where you guys retweeted the U.S. announcement of like the new scarves are on sale for $50. You retweeted it saying like $50 will get you season tickets. Yeah. Oh, and a scarf too, and
ownership, and something to say,
and an email from me. Yeah. I will definitely email you direct. Well, it was funny because
I haven't got my email yet, by the way.
Well, unfortunately, I got called out. So there's a team in England, Lewistown.
Yeah. Okay. So there's this Twitter not battle, but there's been some discussion.
It's they're more of like our cousins across the pond.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Lewistown. So I lived in England for a time in a town called Brighton. Lewis isn't far from Brighton. I actually played ball with a guy who ended up playing at Lewis, and so he's telling me about it. And then all of a sudden, this whole Crows thing turns up, and Lewistown, their nickname are the Rooks, which is a fancy British term for crows. Don't know why they don't just call them crows.
Sounds
Brits, cooler, right? It's like pound. Why not just $1? I know what you're thinking, but but all of a sudden, they're supporter owned. They're a community club, similar nickname, and they're lower division. And I love the stuff that they do. They're so much like us. So we just kind of tweeted at them. They have these awesome match day posters. In a lot of ways, they were sort of an inspiration. So we tweeted at them this match day poster. Next thing you know, we get a bunch of tweets back at us. A number of members. Actually, the chairman of Lewistown just became a member. The other day.
Sweet.
Yeah, sent us a note of encouragement and congratulations. They're having a rough season on the field, but
they'll turn it around.
Well, maybe not this season, but they'll go down. They'll come back up. There's so much to like about them, and they just do it right. They're super ingrained in the community, and so
very similar to what Stegman's is and was and continues to be, and what we hope
City becomes for sure. So that was pretty cool because you start to find these like-minded groups and clubs, and we've even found, with everything that happened with Atlanta Silverbacks, they had a real strong supporters trust to try to keep them with NASL. It didn't work out. Now they're starting as an NPSL team, and we found, again, it's just like these kind of shared values, a shared point of view, and John spent an hour and a half trying to convince a Silverbacks fan in the UK to become a supporter of ours. Definitely guilted him with the #DoGood. I thought that was solid work.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to follow on Twitter, his Twitter handle is SilverbacksUK @SilverbacksUK.
Why are you pimping this other guy's Twitter feed?
I told him I would if he became a member.
Oh, that's nice. Did
he? He said, "Give me a week."
Oh God!
I don't know if they have taxes there, but I think he's going to do his taxes, see what the return is, and then see if he gets 50 shillings or whatever they use there, pesos.
A tuppence.
To see what's up. I mean, I said, it's do good. We're a nonprofit, and donations, especially people that are out of state or out of country, if you want to buy a season ticket, you're more than welcome to give it to, a kid in the community who maybe can't afford the $50 to become a season ticket holder, or even the $7 or $4 for kids under a certain age to be able to come to a game. Now you're sponsoring a kid to be able to go watch some soccer.
That's pretty cool.
That's why #DoGood was pretty on point.
Yeah.
Dan, we'll finish up with what is the best thing about owning and running a soccer team? Is it the helicopter rides, or is it the extravagant caviar spread in your owner's box?
Oh, we should do that. That's a great idea.
It's more of a owner's scaffolding that we put up.
Is it the bucket of canes that's waiting for you every day?
Yeah, in the chairlift.
Yep.
Besides thinking about now when I run into Roman Abramovich to be able to talk about, oh, you in a team too? That's cute. My team will have so much to talk about. Definitely big time him. The fun thing about it is, well, there are two things, right? The first thing, like any soccer dork, to get involved at the very beginning, and we're designing kits and scarves and gear and shit like that.
It's like fantasy soccer.
Exactly like fantasy, but they're going to actually play. So that's been a lot of fun. The other thing, I've been so surprised by it because, like I said, we sort of started this and we didn't really know what was going to happen. And then next thing you know, we have the supporters group, and we don't know any of them. They're real people. And we did this event, and we only told people about our launch event via Twitter, and we had over 100 people. We packed the room.
Wow.
And we have people asking if we're going to do more events. And, all this stuff, it feels like there's some real momentum there. And I mean, that's so much fun because I was a little bit worried. I was a lot of it worried. I was extraordinarily worried that we do all this stuff, and wouldn't necessarily take. But
it would be like you and John and one dude that
like parents of some of the players
lives in his parents' basement, and he just loves soccer.
The comic book guy from The Simpsons.
Yeah, basically that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
The one guy that shows up to Twin Fest in the same shirt he's been wearing for 30 years.
Yep.
Anyway,
yeah, that guy was there.
well, let's move on because we've got a new feature here on the People's Pitch called the People's Pitch Speed Round. It's something we do when we interview you.
Yeah.
Great. Well, it's got to start somewhere.
Yep.
And those after, might as well give the Godfather the speed round. So I will ask you 10 questions. You must give me the quickest answer possible that comes to you.
Okay. Can I be profane?
Oh, sure.
Yes, you can.
All right. Hit me with it.
Earmuffs to those at home. All right. Are you ready, Mr. Chairman?
I think so.
Favorite non-MCSC team?
Brighton and Hove Albion, but Lewistown is definitely making an outside run for my love.
If you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
My mom's lasagna, obviously.
Favorite player?
Favorite current player or former player?
Favorite player.
All time, Dennis Bergkamp.
Favorite
Maestro.
non-Dutch player?
Wow, that's cold. I don't even know non-Dutch players. Alexis Sanchez, he's a little bit off this season. Definitely off this season, but he plays like a fan would play.
Yeah.
Super passionate, effervescent, like he will not stop, scores goals.
It's our favorite player too at home.
Are you sure he's not Dutch?
He's honorary Dutch.
Yeah. he's Dutch on a different equator. If you could live in any other city in the PLA that has a team for the rest of your life, what city would it be? Boom.
That seems
speed round.
I got definitely speed rounded on this one. I think it's gonna have to be Chicago.
Okay. Most memorable soccer moment, personally.
Most memorable soccer moment. Well, so there's a when I first moved to the UK, I started playing at the University of Sussex. They shared a training ground with Brighton, and so I was thinking, this will be perfect. I'll be able to chat up some players. I'll work my way in. Anyway, the Sussex have a great song, and as we went, we're going out for a game. They started to sing it, and it ends with, "It's not so much the SUS, it's more for the SEX. Why you moved to Sussex." The whole song's about how awesome Sussex is. Anyway, we're walking off, and I hear it. And for the first time I got it, I was like, out loud, walking out. Everyone turned to look at me because the goalie or the second one, they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "It's funny." I got so much shit in the dressing room for that. Like, seriously, one, you're not supposed to pay attention. Two, you didn't know any of the words of the song? No, that was fantastic. Yeah, favorite memory. Wasn't even playing.
I like how it had nothing to do with actual soccer. That's great.
Apparently you're not supposed to laugh out loud when you're walking out to the game.
One of those songs. Yeah, well, you learn something every day, right, kids? Would you rather only be able to whisper or only be able to shout?
I think it'd have to be shouting. There are too many people who dribble too much when I'm playing pickup. And if I had to whisper at them, it wouldn't be as effective to tell them what I think about them.
I mean, that was just a tee shot right there for you. If you were the newly elected FIFA president, what would your first order of business be?
My first order of business, I mean, obviously be to open a Swiss bank account. I think that's just what people do. More realistically, what I'd try and do for FIFA is hold World Cups in reasonable places. I think we'd reopen the whole Qatar thing. Because, I mean, seriously, a gated off area where you can drink beer sounds fucking terrible.
Yeah, that sounds awful.
That is possibly the worst thing. We're spending all of our time trying to find a place where we can play, where you can drink beer, and then for the biggest soccer gathering in the entire world, we're like, you know where we should go? A place that has no soccer, a stadium's built with slaves, and no beer.
And you're going to play in the summer in the desert.
Not to mention
Right?
it's 180 degrees.
That sounds like fun, because everyone remembers the USA 94 games held in Orlando. That was a blast. The Irish playing, or wherever they played.
Yeah, the Irish beat...
That was terrible. Those poor guys burned their scalps. It was
Right.
the worst.
Right.
So, yeah, we should definitely do that.
And then drink beer in a cattle pen.
Right. It's going to be a great World Cup. Can't wait. Good work, guys.
All right, best soccer shoes you've ever worn.
Oh, Nike Tiempos. I got these sick Tiempo Pros, and I was so disappointed when they tore. They tore right in the inseam. I'd had them for years and years, and they were black. They were actually black with white swooshes. Now, I try to buy Tiempos, and they're fluorescent.
Yeah.
Yep.
What the
Yeah, man, you
fuck?
gotta look flashy out there.
Yep.
They're
Fluorescent?
not gonna see you run unless you got
So your
some
mom,
neon shoes.
so your mom can see you on TV.
Yeah.
I'm a goddamn mid-30s goalkeeper. I'm just getting black shoes.
Trying to be understated.
Yeah, you need black six studs.
Right?
Yep.
You just plant it right on someone's knee.
All right, and the last question. You have to marry one, fuck one, kill one. Sepp Blatter, Don Garber, and Jurgen Klinsmann.
Who's Don Garber?
The MLS commissioner.
Oh, okay.
Way to do your homework, Nate.
Yeah, come on.
I
You
should have
gotta,
looked it up.
Nate gets a
I don't have a soccer Google.
Nate gets a 30-second penalty for not knowing who that is. So
I feel like it would be it'd be important to marry Clinzy. He gets a lot of shit, but
he can cook you a good meal too.
Beautiful man. He really knows his way around some schnitzel. I think that would work. I definitely like to fuck up Sepp Blatter, primarily for all the reasons.
I don't believe that up was in the question. It's just a straight fuck.
Well, you know what? He knows things. He's a European. There are things he could teach me.
All right. So,
No. And then I definitely killed Garber because I mentioned this another interview I did. I had this dream, and it was wild, of Minneapolis City getting promoted through the divisions, a Wimbledon-like rise with a Wimbledon-like attitude. You know, I'm really excited to find out who our Vinnie Jones is going to be. Not just because he would definitely tackle the shit out of some, McMahon-like overrated midfielder, but then he'd go on to a great career in Hollywood, which I support. Because you need to think about life after soccer.
That's for sure.
And Garber stands in the way of that. So that's my dream, Don. It's my dream, and that's why you're dying.
all right.
Sorry, bro.
Well,
All
that
right.
was the first ever and maybe only speed round.
Hey Dan,
on
we're
the
gonna
podcast.
get to some email. You want to stick around and listen? And
Yeah,
answer
man. I'm here until I
some
finish my
listener
beer, at
email?
least.
All right, cool.
All right, so thank you again for all the listeners who sent email in. We picked out 2 specific emails. Once again, if you'd like to give us your opinion, ask some questions, our website is mcscpodcast@gmail.com, and I didn't get it wrong this time.
Well, that's our email, because our website is actually mplscitysc.com.
I totally got it wrong. So if you again, I get it wrong every time. So Nate, what's our email address for the podcast?
Oh my gosh, it is mcscpodcast@gmail.com.
See, it's not that
Nailed
it's not
it.
that easy, is it? So please give us some feedback. It will help dictate what we talk about on the upcoming shows, at least segments of the upcoming shows. But for example, we have 2 emails that we've selected this week to talk about in our listener mail segment. So this comes from listener Bennett. Hope you're listening now. Longtime listener, first time writer, parentheses, been listening since episode 1. We're on episode 3 for those of you who have no idea.
OG.
Anyway, 2 things. I'm interested in hearing about more about the history and social media. Is there a specific brand or strategy that MCSC is pursuing in its social media campaigns? What, if any, are the mistakes you've seen other clubs make on social media that you want to avoid? As for history, can we get a general overview of soccer in Minneapolis and where you see the club fitting in history? So I think that
Let's break this down really, because there's a couple
Yeah.
aspects to this. Like, let's talk social media first of all.
Yeah.
You already spoke about this just a few minutes ago, we're really trying to emulate the Rooks,
Well,
or at least as
I
far
don't
as
know,
how they've promoted themselves.
I don't know that I'd say how they promoted themselves. That was more how they built their club.
Oh, okay.
I would actually start with the things that that other clubs do wrong.
Oh,
because that was
I love it.
one of the reasons that we did what we did. Most, and I'll even separate out of soccer. Sports teams are boring.
Totally boring.
Coaches are boring. Players are boring, and the players who are interesting, everyone takes a shit on, which is awful. Cam Newton's one of my favorite guys. Dude had a personality. And we looked around and how many team Twitter feeds do you actually follow?
Wait, you know Cam Newton?
I mean,
How do I
not
not know?
personally, but dap the shit out of that.
Yeah.
So one of the things we decided to do is we're going to take a point of view and we're going to do our best to be interesting. And then we got way into memes, and so that was a thing that happened. But when we look around at the mistakes that teams make, is they're supposed to represent a community, and you want them to have a point of view, and you want them to really care, and all they do is, we made a new signing, and he played here, picture.
Or that canned response about our victory or loss last night.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
It's like...
He may have made a mistake, but, we'll see how he rebounds in training over the next week. Yeah, no shit. The guy made a mistake, and you're going to look at him, and you're going to be like, I'm going to definitely replace him if someone plays better.
Right?
And I say that.
I will tell you, Lewistown did a great retweet. They had a guy who was watching one of their games, and he said something like the fans in the pan, their home field are letting the assistant referee know exactly what they think about his myopia. Like, that's fantastic. But you just wouldn't see too many U.S. sports teams doing that. So we decided we were going to try and be interesting and try and take a point of view. And our point of view is we're fucking awesome and everyone else is terrible, particularly Fargo. So that's what we did. So our strategy, we were interviewing an intern on Friday. And we asked him, so, did you do any research about us? And typical intern, I didn't do a lot. Bad answer.
Right off the bat.
Bad
Terrible
answer.
I've interviewed 3 interns, and none of them have done research beforehand. Interns, if you're listening, at least know that we are not Minnesota United.
Kind of a thing.
Start there. But anyways, I digress.
But this guy then totally redeemed himself because he said, well, I checked out your website and I hit up Twitter, and you're kind of like the Archer of soccer clubs.
Yeah, there we go.
Sign up, bro. We're going to add another 0 to your salary. So anyway, that was kind of what we did. We just wanted to be a little bit disruptive, a little bit different, and kind of wanted to be interesting. And we may have heard, I may have gotten a call from an owner of a team that we trolled. Not gonna name any names. They're not in our league. They are from Wisconsin, and that was pretty fun. So immediately I was like, oh no, I don't do Twitter at all. That's definitely
I'll have to talk to someone
one of our
about that.
interns. Can't believe that he said that. That's just terrible what happens on the internet.
So speaking of that, why don't you tell us what the Twitter feed is for those folks out there who aren't following it yet?
Oh sure, it's at MPLS City SC. It's definitely worth it if you like memes, kittens, and
gifs.
making animated GIFs.
Yes.
Yeah, I think my animated GIF game is not as strong as it could be. We may have to bring.
I can help you with that.
There it is.
Interns are on the way, right?
And if you want to follow myself or Nate, my Twitter feed is at Johnny Business, JONNY BIZZNESS.
Yeah, and I'm at Mexinate, MEXI Nate.
You made that sound so boring.
Pretty much my username for everything since I was in 3rd grade.
Yeah, what's your password? It's about the same thing.
So let's talk about history real briefly, because I feel like this is something we could spend an entire show on, talking about the history of Minneapolis soccer and where we fit into it. But there's a lot of guys like me out there who maybe saw a Strikers game once and used to eat kicks for breakfast. But there's also people who, like you said, who've grown up in this culture of soccer in Minneapolis. So where does Minneapolis City fit in? Where do you hope Minneapolis City fits into their lives in the span of soccer history?
You're at the top, man.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Well, when you think about, typically people think about Minneapolis, I think about the Twin Cities, and with NASL and the Kicks, and in fact, Alan Merrick, our technical director, Kicks legend,
Owns the brand.
Right, still owns the brand. Through the Strikers, who kind of were the next step after the Kicks, and then Thunder and Buzz Lagos really resurrecting pro soccer, and pro soccer has been consistent in in Minnesota really since he fired up the Thunder. Of course, the Thunder turned into NSC Stars, turned into Minnesota Stars, turned into Minnesota United, and have been playing in Blaine, which of course, like Bloomington, is not Minneapolis. So we've had it in the Twin Cities, but we haven't had it in Minneapolis proper. And I get it; it's hard to find stadiums, it's hard to find fields in Minneapolis. We made a real commitment that this is the city that it was like our cities. How we got together. We're gonna play there no matter what. So what I love to be really known as is in the sea of Minnesota teams. We're the one who chose the city, decided we're gonna lock it down.
Well, that brings us up to our next email. This is from Matt, and he started with a compliment, which we love. First off, you two make Wednesday mornings so much better.
So thank you, Matt.
Yep. First thing he does in the morning after taking a shower is turn on the podcast. His question is, does Minneapolis City have a stadium deal yet? I know in the first episode we threw out a couple options, Minneapolis South and De La Salle. Do you know if anything is official yet? Well, first of all, Matt, thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening, Matt. Thank you for giving us the shout out there. We really hope that there's at least a step of some sort of moisturizing or cocoa buttering, and then application of underwear at least before you hit play.
Listen however you want, but if you're going to be just air drying while you listen, don't tell us about it.
Yeah, you know what? But hey, you be you, Matt. You be you.
But we have Dan here. We might as well ask you, Dan.
Might as well break the big news.
Do we have a stadium deal in
We
place?
we do. Really, really big news, and you heard it here first. We are going to be playing at Minneapolis South, and we're really excited about it. It's super accessible off of 55 and Lake Street, accessible from the light rail, bus as well. Great grass field in urban Minneapolis in the Corcoran neighborhood, right next to Longfellow, near Midtown. One of my favorite dive bars isn't too far away, the Hexagon.
No, it's everyone's favorite dive bar.
It's just so good.
Yep.
So good at what it does. Harriet Brewing, there are a lot of great places to go. And the great thing about South is, they're really allowing us to be us at South, which is great. So many other places that we talked to were a little bit more locked down. Not to say that De La Salle in the future couldn't happen. Not to say that other places couldn't happen. De La Salle's been great to work with. They've got a lot of stuff going on. It's not quite so cut and dried when you're finding a field in Minneapolis, but South's been fantastic. And I think the great thing about South, too, is, it's going to be ours. It's going to be a little bit rickety. It's going to be definitely grassroots. It's kind of going to be us. But it's also going to be a place we can own. It's going to be a place that can get really loud, get the smoke going, can roll off to Midtown or back to the Hex.
Yep.
Which is what I would do personally
Right, well,
if I were you.
Well, there you go, Matt. And those of you listening out there, we are playing at Minneapolis South High School this year. I'd like to thank Dan for joining us. It was a great time. Hope you enjoyed it.
I was blessed.
We'll bring Dan back on after we get the season started. But great insights. Provided the color that Nate and I can't.
Yes. We also, while you're here, we want to make sure to remind our listeners that if you're looking to become a member and get a personal email from Dan, it's
and a scarf no one likes,
and a scarf that everyone
No, they
seems
like
to be
that
hating
one.
over.
It's the other one.
No, it's the
they may have.
I'm excited for this scarf. It's a $50 annual membership, and really that means tickets to every game, a lifetime vote of Club Matters, including board elections, lifetime eligibility for board memberships if you want to rise up the rank. But the important thing is the 2016 season ticket and the inaugural scarf. $50 right on our website. There's also lifetime memberships if you're really hardcore. You get the inaugural jersey, you get the inaugural scarf, you get the season tickets, priority membership ticketing benefits, things like that. So you should check those out both at the website, mplscitysc.com.
I mean, if things take off, the $350 is going to seem like a bargain.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. So until next week. Next week we're going to be talking about players. We promise.
We promise.
No more news. We'll push this
We will
off.
not let anything get in our way of talking about the players that have been signed so far. We promise.
So
unless you send an email about something no pants related,
totally totally
like
tangential.
Yeah.
But once again, we're gonna be signing off here. We want to thank Summit as the official craft beer sponsor of the People's Pitch. Of course, celebrating their 30th anniversary this year. Make sure to visit summitbrewing.com for all information about happenings over there. If you're thirsty, just pop on down to your local liquor store and get a 6-pack of their newest Unchained 21 series, the Us and Them, before it's gone. Those things are always selling strong, and they're always delicious.
Yep, they're going to run out, so make sure you get it.
So as usual, this has been Nate.
And I am John.
We're going to leave you with our house band. Go get 'em, Tiger. This is Kicks on a Wire. Peace.
Enjoy!